and everything I write, I just want to go back and edit. And let's do some writing. So I am writing a new book, and I thought it would be interesting if I could film some of that process and kind of just share the journey of writing this second book. The book I'm currently writing is the sequel to Harbinger of Justice, which I released on June 9th, and I've just started the sequel. I do kind of have a working title for the sequel, but because the chances are it will probably change, I'm just going to call it Shadowbinders 2, because this is the Shadowbinders trilogy. But just to bring it up to speed, I started it yesterday and I wrote very little because I've been really struggling to get back into the swing of things. This is something about moving from like the last draft where you're really focusing on the editing and all the nitty-gritty of the sentence structure and everything you can think of in detail, compared to first drafts, which are usually very rough. For me personally, I like to just get the first draft down and then worry about if it's any good later. That's a future Andrew problem. But I thought it'd be fun if I could just film a little bit of the process. I am still promoting and sharing things for book 1. So if you're brand new, hi, my name is Andrew. I'm a self-published author of Harbinger of Justice, which is I thought I'd get better at summarizing it, but nope. A dark epic fantasy novel with inspirations from ancient Egyptian mythology, and it is the first book in the Shadowbinders trilogy. So yeah, I'm really excited to get back into writing properly. One of the things about being an indie author is there's a lot of logistics and things to get the book out there after you've finished writing it, so it feels like it's been so long since I've been writing properly on a schedule. So I'm just really looking forward to getting back into a routine and getting writing and getting back with these characters. I'm not stressing too much about word count for now, because I do want to get just back into things, get the ball rolling, getting into writing again, and just start this project. Just want to get the ball rolling. Let's do some writing. So because this is a sequel, I had a pretty good idea of what was going to happen in this book, but I did still spend about 2 weeks outlining. A big question in the writing community is, are you a pantser or a plotter? So a plotter is someone who really structurally lines out their story, whereas a pantser is someone who just sits down and just writes and makes up as they go along. It is more of a spectrum rather than a this or that, and I am somewhere kind of in the middle. I like to have an outline, a plan, but they're really pretty broad. I need to have the main plot beats for the story, so I know the inciting incident, I know the midpoint, I know the rising action and the finale and how it's going to end as well. But a lot of the nuances and all the different individual scenes of how to get between these main plot beats are something I usually just write, but how I get between these main plot beats is more discovery written. So I did start writing this yesterday, and I probably only got about 500, 700 words. It was quite a struggle. I do think it would take a while to get back into the swing of things, and I'm not writing it in order, and this first chapter is probably not the best place to start writing because it's quite a difficult chapter to write. It's over a couple of days and has a lot of individual scenes within the chapter, and it's finding ways to make these scenes come together in like a seamless manner, and that is something that's really more of a focus of editing. But like I said, because I just finished the first book, my mind is still on editing mode, and everything I write I just want to go back and edit. But that is something that I really need to battle against to get this first draft down. Just focus on the words, don't look back, just keep going forward. So I got about 900 words in this morning, bringing the total to something like 3,600 words. And I do feel like I'm actually getting back into the swing of things. I really had a good session this morning. It's not a lot of words for the time I was sitting there, but I did have a lot of fun doing it. I will probably do some more writing tonight as well, hopefully bringing it up to 4,500 odd words. In total, not today. No. However, I do have some stuff I want to show you that's book related. The awesome people over at the Fantasy Fellowship, The awesome people over at the Fantasy Fellowship have chosen Harbinger of Justice, my book, to be their indie spotlight book for August, which means they're all going to buddy read it in the month of August and discuss it on the Discord. And part of that is me selling signed copies. The only problem with signed copies being an indie author is that shipping can get really expensive. I'm in the UK, and if someone in the US or Australia wants a copy, you're talking about half the price of the book on top of the price of the book. And I really don't want to charge people these crazy prices. So to avoid these shipping costs, I got made book plates. I'm so happy with how they turned out. I think they look so cool. Ignore the top two, that was me testing out what coloured pen looks best. But I thought it'd be quite interesting to do something a wee bit different, so I made a black book plate, and then I'm going to sign it with a white or silver or gold pen. And I just want to show you because I thought that looked really cool. So this afternoon I am going to do some signing and then shipping off the first batch of these orders. And then I'll do some more writing later on. Box of Hodge. So I didn't get any writing done last night, but I did get some done this morning. I really don't like info dumps. So with book one, I made a very conscious decision to only explain things if they came up naturally in the plot. I put a fair bit of thought into how I'm getting across some of the world building aspects. And one of those things is the blood magic. Now, the blood magic is talked about in book one, and it's referenced once or twice, and you get given bits of information that's relevant to the scene that the blood magic comes up in. However, I never really explain it, and that's because there's a scene in book two where it's explained to one of my characters in the book. I'm not a huge world builder. I don't sit for hours before writing the first draft and really spending hours and hours just working on the world building. So most of these smaller details have just been discovery written throughout the book, but I do have some of these bigger concepts that I do want to get into the books themselves, but just thinking about how to deliver this information is something that I'm really trying to make a conscious thought of. I don't want to just dump a bunch of information on the reader. I want it to come up naturally in the story. Equally, it needs to come from the right people. So I'm just really excited to finally be able to write out these scenes that I've been thinking since book one and really flesh out some of this world building and some plot details that I think will be quite fun. Hope so anyway. I was planning on making this a week-long video, but I've not had the time that I thought I was going to have this week. I'm going on holiday tomorrow, so most of this week was getting ahead on work, as well as sorting the books for the book club and doing a little bit of writing in between all that. But I'm delighted that I'm finally back into writing. I think book two will be longer than book one, and book one was about 125,000 words. So I'm thinking book two will probably be around 150,000 words. So I can't complain, 4,000 words into it. If there's interest, I will do more of these just writing type videos where I can talk a little bit about my process and how far I am with the book. I was thinking maybe one a month, so let me know if you're interested in seeing more writing type content. Less so advice videos. I don't really want to do writing advice type content, but sharing some of the process of writing and the things that go around it, I thought could be quite interesting. When I was drafting book one, I kind of got on an average of about 10,000 a week. But I do think I could probably bump that a bit higher for book two. I would say don't get discouraged with word counts though. Some people write 500 a day, others can write 10,000 a day. There is something to be said about a certain level of consistency and accountability, but as long as you're moving forward, it's all good. So I do quite like having word count goals for the week, and how I work it out is I work out how much I can do pretty comfortably in a day and then times it by 5. So on average I could probably get 2,000 words fairly easily most days, which adds up to 10,000 in a 5-day work week. And that means if life comes up or something happens during the week, or I'm stuck at a certain part and I can't get the 2,000 words that day, I have the weekend to catch up. That way you still meet the target and you feel accomplished, but there isn't too much pressure. This meant some weeks I was pretty much bang on 10,000 and other weeks I got ahead of the 10,000 because I usually wrote on the weekends even if I did hit the 10k during the week. And there is something really satisfying about seeing it go up 10,000 words. Different number at the start, progression is being made. I was also thinking about trying different authors' writing routines. So let me know if you're interested in that or this type video. It probably will be longer in the future, covering the entire week rather than just a handful of days. And I will only do these very occasionally. But let me know. Do you want that? Do you not want that? Let me know. Or if you have any requests for the type of things you want me to include in these writing videos, just let me know in the comments below. But thank you very much for watching. Outro.